Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everybody. Thank you for tuning into another Supatease video. And I had the awesome opportunity to experience the most disgusting specialization when it comes to PvP. I had no idea it was this bad. And the specialization that I am talking about in today's video is this one, the Vengeance Demon Hunter, the tank specialization for Demon Hunter. For some reason, this specialization has 3 or 4 different types of crowd control, all off different diminishing returns that all seemingly have close to almost no cooldown while still being able to do remarkably high damage with infinite uptime and invincibility. This specialization is absolutely crazy. You can see the start of the match is me going into a silence and running for my life off into the corner and trying to get to safety and trying to get control of this menace specialization. Now we're feared, we're interrupted on cast, we're getting stun locked by the AoE stuns of the Demon Hunter, we're trying to cast fear, we're faking interrupts, we finally get through the interrupts, we finally get a fear over onto the healer, we're then looking to do as much damage as we can, but what do you know, the silence that seemingly was like 10 seconds ago, I don't know, I just started this video and I'm already silenced again. It's a 4-second silence that doesn't DR and isn't dispellable and is AoE. It's absolutely remarkable that this exists as it does. We portal back behind the pillar. We're trying to kite. We're trying to avoid the Demon Hunter at all costs. We set him up in the scatter shot. We get a double mortal coil. We're getting our immolates out. We're doing what we can. And then what do you know? Another AoE fear hits our whole team, interrupting us, stopping us from playing. Then we get interrupted by the Demon Hunter. We can finally get a fear, finally a moment where we can cast, but the Hunter's out of our line of sight, so we're not really able to do too much. We go for another fear. They use a suction sigil that pulls us on our cast and interrupts us from playing. It's absolutely remarkable the amount of disruption. Then we get silenced by the Hunter into an interrupt, into another silence, which is AoE. It also hits my Resto Shaman, into another AoE stun. And I'm just wondering, where are the cooldowns on all of this crowd control? How is he able to access this crowd control so readily while also doing 4.5 million damage at this point in the game, double everybody else's DPS? It's absolutely insane. We drop Spirit Link. We're panicking. We can't get pressure. Everyone's on DR. We're constantly CC'd. We're trying to portal them off of us. We get silenced. Big deal. Silenced again. This silence is just insanely powerful. Just the ability to even silence a healer for 4 seconds like that, it's stronger than any silence in the game, and it seemingly has no cooldown. I've been silenced like 4 times already in this match. We get a fear finally. The only chance that I can get to breathe against the spec in the game was to CC it and to try and get it off of my back, but it is unbelievable. I do not know how the specialization has managed to scrape by as it is. It's likely just because not a lot of people are playing it. The queue times are really long for it, I would imagine. We portal here, but what do you know? Our healer's in a silence for 4 seconds into a stun. We get stunned off behind the pillar and we get feared on our next cast, and at that point we're not able to get back to our shaman, and we are inevitably going to die with the Demon Hunter clearing, double the damage of my Beast Mastery Hunter, significantly more damage than my Marksmanship Hunter, and myself while I'm getting trained and infinitely perpetually interrupted. This is by far the most frustrating experience I have ever had in PvP. I think I was at the point where I wanted to uninstall. I was thinking, like, this can't be like this. There's no way that there's a spec after all of the CC reductions that they've been making to the game that has access to this amount of crowd control. And it's not even the full kit. I don't think that they used the Illidan's Grasp on me, which stuns me, and then you can yoink them across the map. So already immediately on target, just jumping right on top of us. We snare them, but first global, we're in a silence, can't dispel it, not able to cast any spells. We're trying to gateway away. There's the Illidan's Grasp. We're going to get stunned, and then he can chuck me out of an earthen. I click the gate fast enough that the chuck doesn't come through. The hunt to immediately reconnect, because obviously why wouldn't you want to have 100% uptime while also crowd controlling me indefinitely and scaring me down to 1% and almost dying in the opener as a tank specialization? I mean, why would you not want to do that? Shadow melds my cast, then interrupts my cast. We portal back behind the pillar. We call the Hunter immediately back on me right here. You can see him in the middle, immediately back on me, and then going for another stun, wind sheared, crowd controlled again, not able to play, really not having a great time, setting up sigil, keeping pressure, keeping me in the open. I mean, I don't even know why you would want to play Havoc Demon Hunter. I feel like Vengeance is just infinitely better. You're not gonna have the liability of dying. You're invincible. You do comparable damage, if not more damage, with infinitely more CC available to you. I mean, he's putting all this CC into me, but if he was putting this into the healer, like this is like upwards of 20-30 seconds of CC. Like I'm getting feared while I'm getting attacked, just everything to interrupt any cast. Now I'm stunned on my cast. Like there's literally nothing I can do at this point. We're just dead in the stun before it can even end with a hex onto our healer. This class, dude, this class needs to be removed. It needs to be removed. I mean, like I've seen tank specs, I've played tank specs in the past that have been abusive. Usually they're invincible or they're doing a remarkably high amount of damage. This is adding another layer to that. This is adding remarkably high damage, invincibility, infinite uptime, and CC. Like this guy is a walking RMP. He's just a walking rogue mage priest. He can do every single CC, totally remove you from the match while still doing top damage. I don't know how this spec hasn't been discovered other than just nobody's had the peak curiosity for it. And maybe that's how it's managed to, sneak by as it is in its current format. This round, we're going to get to play with the Vengeance Demon Hunter. So hopefully this is going to go well for us. The Marksmanship Hunter is already experiencing the first start of the CC. We're going to coil them out of the stun locks, try and get them into the open. We're going to pop our wall because we're fighting a Marksman Hunter and just trade as many cooldowns as we can to keep pumping out damage. Chaos Bolt's going through that Roar of Sack. Look at this silence over onto the healer. We've got them crowd control, but we're dying. It's 2 hunters. I'm a warlock. This is probably one of the most tilting lobbies I've ever seen. Although the next one was almost as equally tilting that I played, that I happened to get with the same Vengeance Demon Hunter almost right after this. We're getting crowd control on 1 hunter with fear, trying to make sure that only 1 is connecting to me at a time so that I can at least trade some damage equivalently here. And my dragon's not too worried about healing me. We're going to get silenced, so we're going to portal back behind the pillar in line of sight during that silence before it triggers. We dropped our nether portals before that point, so that forced the aspect of the turtle, spell lock onto the hex, into a silence, into a fear. At least now we get to have some of the crowd control and not be so frustrated by the volume that was available onto ourselves. Now this Resto Shaman's going to have to deal with it, pumping out the Shadow Burns, trying to keep pressure going, get a sleep onto the Resto Shaman. We end up getting stunned desperately, but here's that Illidan's Grasp, and now you can just chuck him wherever he wants. So he stacks him up on the hunter, gets a double stun into a double fear. Like, I mean, some of this crowd control is honestly kind of cool. The Illidan's Grasp effect, where you stun someone and move one, I actually think that's a pretty cool effect. But layered on top of all of these different CCs with different DRs, it is easily the most tilting thing ever. I mean, I feel for this Resto Shaman, having experienced it, the first 2 rounds before this. He's getting vortexed in, he's getting sucked together. We're trying to portal the hunters away if they push on top of me, get some distance into the back, because the next CC we should be able to win here. We get a silence, we get a double stun, get some immolates up, dump out some conflagrates, and he's going to get cracked over. And like, there's no way, man. There's no way this specialization exists the way that it exists. I cannot believe it. I was so astounded, dumbfounded, honestly, that the specialization exists that it does. It was so powerful, so insanely out of control. When we jump into this final game, Illidan's Grasp yoinked me downstairs. Now I'm in line of sight of the hunter. I can't really go anywhere. Drop a triple Infernal, try and get a Shadow Fury, stunned again, not able to cast. Our dragon friend here lands a stun, gets me a little bit of distance away from the Demon Hunter, but immediately silenced now for 4 seconds and unable to do anything. We get to sleep onto the Shaman, but we still can't cast. Now we're interrupted. Now we're interrupted again. There's so much lockdown. Now interrupted again. Now I'm sure the Shaman has a grounding if he wants to put a grounding behind the pillar. We're trying to find a fear. Vengeance Demon Hunter Vengeful Retreat immunes it into the air, so now he's immune to fear again. We finally get the fear. I wouldn't mind a lot of these interactions if he wasn't also just passively invincible. I think that's honestly even, maybe the most problematic part of this is that he just doesn't take damage. He's not a viable target. You can't punish him for staying on top of you like this. Lightning Lasso, we're pretty much just falling over. Dark Pack's not going to do a lot now that I'm low health like this. Double fear hits everybody. Rewind puts us back in the fight, at least for a moment. We're going to portal back behind the pillar, try and get away from this Demon Hunter as much as possible, but there's no way that's going to happen to you. This spec has infinite mobility. We're going to Dark Pack high health, get some value. Illidan's Grasp doesn't even chuck us with this. We're trying to drop a portal. He can even easily dodge that, even with Curse of Exhaustion. Then we get gripped into double silence. Look how long that silence is. That's such a painful duration. Emerald Communion for my healer doesn't even do much. He rescues me back upstairs. They don't care. They're immediately back on target. Shadow Fury cast, get kicked. Try and fish out. We get the double Mortal Coils coming out, trying to go for a fear. Now there's a grounding. Now we Vengeful Retreat immunes. Now there's another immunity. You can't get any control of this class. He's still doing top damage. And mind you, I think this is at about like 2300 MMR. I think the main reason, again, that this class isn't climbing is just the Q times. The Q times are restricting it. Your Annihilate moves, portal away, catches up, and runs us down pretty quickly. So this specialization, this has got to get nerfed. I mean, I think the only reason, again, as I've said, that it hasn't been nerfed is just because nobody has actually tried to use it. This was the most abusive experience I have experienced in the game. I have not. Infinite uptime, invincible, 3 different DRs, constantly flying around and immune to anything that you're trying to do. It's doing like top damage to these other specializations. Like, bro, this gotta get nerfed. It's gotta get nerfed. I don't know. I wanted to give you guys the update on this, my experience with it. Hopefully this will draw some attention to get it nerfed because, oh my God. All right. Anyways, thank you guys for watching the video. Hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you in the next one.